Hi, hello, and welcome to my review of this new Hayao Miyazaki movie, The Boy and the Heron. Yeah, finally, I didn't think this guy would actually make another movie again. If you don't know, Hayao Miyazaki is a basically film legend this far. He created some of the best animes in general, especially with Studio Ghibli. I think his breakout movie was Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind, which is a great science fiction epic animated film. And just with that, it started. After that, I think he was one of the founders of Studio Ghibli, and like this studio, and especially Hayao Miyazaki, is definitely responsible for some of the best animes ever. Even besides Hayao Miyazaki, there's also Isao Takahata who created movies like Only Yesterday, also My Neighbor Yamada's, Tale of the Princess Kaguya. Then also Hayao Miyazaki's son, Goro Miyazaki, created two movies that are really great. I'm not mentioning Urban Get the Witch because that movie doesn't exist. And thinking back, there's also Whisper of the Heart, which is a great Ghibli movie, a very simple story that they told. Arietti is amazing when Mani was there. There's so much more probably that I haven't even mentioned right now. And this is not even Hayao Miyazaki. We also have Hayao Miyazaki's work, which if I just wanted to rank this right now, like without putting a lot of thought in it, there's House Moving Castle, Ponyo, Porco Rosso, Kiki's Delivery Service, My Neighbor Totoro, Nausicaa and the Valley of the Wind, The Boy and the Heron, Spirited Away, Castle in the Sky, The Wind Rises, and also Princess Mononoke. Look, like just having a catalog like this, just having two movies from a catalog like this already like makes you an amazing director. I think this guy already wanted to stop making movies after House Moving Castle, which came out in 2004 or 5 maybe, but he still made Ponyo, and after that he also wanted to stop. Then he still made The Wind Rises, and now 10 years later he put out The Boy and the Heron. Look, I don't know, I can't imagine the guy is making another movie after this, but if he does, in his 90s maybe, I'm there, definitely. This movie is about a boy called Mahito. Yeah, his mother dies, and so his father moves in with his new stepmother, basically, and Mahito also moves in with him. And in his new house, he suddenly gets visited by a mysterious heron, and there's also a few mysterious events that are happening. Like there's a weird house that has some secrets apparently, and I don't want to spoil what happens after that, but this movie basically turns into a very dreamy and very abstract tale and odyssey of like weird events that happen. I don't really know what details I want to say about it because I haven't really gotten the full picture of what is like the biggest important part of this movie, because again it's very abstract. I didn't really get all of it. Also my mind was kind of fried after watching this movie because just the day before I watched Stalker, and that's also not the easiest movie. So but I do have to say that this is easily Hayao Miyazaki's dreamiest and most abstract movie. From the get-go we just get weird events that aren't really explained, that are just happening. We get introduced to characters and places and stories and whatever, that don't really instantly make sense. They don't click really. They are not explained. They just happen. And even Mahito himself doesn't really question anything, which is like a very big part of this movie that I thought was weird. Like there's so much random, weird shit that is happening that I feel like even at least at the beginning you should be a little bit more confused about things that are going down that are not normal at all. I get that he's more and more just getting used to all this, but at least in the beginning, you know. And what I also think is better about this movie than with a movie like, for example, House Moving Castle, is the fact that it puzzles itself together in the end very nicely. Like I feel like I got more and more lost in this film over the course of its 2 hour runtime. But in the end, there are a few things that are said that really made me think, okay, wow, this clicks, this makes sense, and I feel like I could get a lot from it if I rewatch this. I say a lot that I want to rewatch movies and then I actually don't do it. So without spoiling anything that is exactly happening in this film, I want to mention the fact that this movie consistently moves from different locations to new different locations and new settings, and all of them are beautiful, they are imaginative, they have great animation, and what I specifically like the first picture that really ingrained itself into my mind was the picture of a fire that really was looking so beautiful, especially like the way Mahito is running through a mass of people, and everybody around him is just completely washed out, and you can't really tell the exact faces because he's like so focused on the one thing he has to concentrate on right now, like the one very important thing in the scene, and like that looks so beautiful. Also all these creatures that Hayao Miyazaki creates with this film. Like for example, these weird blobs. They are the cutest thing ever. Really the cutest thing. Also in Letterboxd you can now see like this little Easter egg that they put onto their logo in the top left corner, where it's like these blobs replaced the 3 circles of Letterboxd, which is kind of fun. Also, the birds in this film are cute as fuck. They have a lot of birds in this film. Also, the music is really, really great. It already got a Golden Globe nomination. I don't know if it wins. I don't know if I want it to win against the Oppenheimer score, but it's definitely a good score. The biggest problems that I have with this film are certain things that are not really explained or that just don't really make sense on the first watch or like generally on the surface. For example, like a few places that we went to, I just don't know why we went there. I don't know what the purpose really of that was. But what I do think is kind of weird is the fact that generally, like some of the characters, I don't really understand anyone's motivations. Especially the Heron in this film. I don't know. I think the sky doesn't really make a lot of sense, and I could never really see which side the sky is on. And it was just kind of annoying. But that's actually really about it. This movie is not really comparable to a lot of movies that Studio Ghibli has made. Like the biggest movie from Studio Ghibli that I could compare this to is probably Spirited Away or House Moving Castle, because this movie does move from very random locations to new random locations with new characters. Just that Spirited Away and House Moving Castle have more of a story, and this one is really just whatever. And actually watching this movie a day after Stalker kind of makes me appreciate this movie a lot more, because with Stalker I just had no real clue. And it's also a very abstract movie that doesn't really give you a lot of answers. But The Boy and the Heron, in the end, gave you enough clues and enough things to take in that it makes a lot more sense, and that it feels a little bit more gratifying to end the movie with. And you're not just completely lost with absolutely no answers at all. I will give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's definitely a big recommendation, especially if you're an anime fan, if you like fantasy, if you like movies, you just watch it, maybe. Here's some videos that I made that you could watch. And yeah, see you guys next time.